If I asked you right now to tell me how much your business actually made last month, could you answer it confidently? And I'm not talking about what hit your Cash App, or what you think you made, but real profit. What did you net profit after expenses, after taxes, after everything? If that question makes you pause, then we got to talk about bookkeeping. Now, just so you know, bookkeeping isn't just for accountants or big businesses. It's the foundation of financial clarity. And it's how smart entrepreneurs keep more money and stress less during tax season. So today we're going to talk about what bookkeeping is, why it matters for taxes and business growth, and the exact system you can set up today to make it simple and automatic. Welcome back to another episode of Millennial Gems. I am your host, AKILA. And we don't waste no time, so we're going to get right into it. So, first thing I want to address is what bookkeeping actually is, right? I believe I've talked about this on previous episodes, so you can go through those again if you need that reminder. But for those who are new here and don't know what bookkeeping is, it's simply just tracking and organizing all of your transactions. So it's, you're just tracking every dollar that flows in and out of your business. That's it. All your income, all your expenses, all your assets, liabilities, it's all tracked in one place. You can think of bookkeeping as the GPS for your business. Without it, you're just driving in circles, hoping you end up somewhere profitable. Bookkeeping does three things. It shows you how much you're making, it shows you how much you're spending, and then it shows you where your money is going. And as I've mentioned on many occasions, when you know your numbers, you're not just winging it, you're running your business on purpose. So why does bookkeeping matter, especially for tax season? Bad bookkeeping equals chaos when tax time hits. Every single deduction, write-off, tax break, it's going to depend on your books being clean. If your numbers are messy or missing, you're most likely going to probably miss out on deductions. You might even end up paying Uncle Sam a little bit more than he's supposed to have. Or you're going to probably risk getting audited because your numbers just don't add up. And let's be honest, the IRS, they don't play when it comes to proof. If you can't show your backup, if you can't show or back up your numbers, they're going to disallow those deductions. Even if you say, they're justified. But when your books are in order, you can definitely file faster. You can save money. You stay stress-free. Sorry. I've started my business back in 2023. Actually, I've been doing, 2023 is when I officially made my business official, Millennial Gems. I made it official. And so, at first, I'm still doing my own bookkeeping now. Because I didn't have that many transactions and stuff like that. So it was, very easy to keep up with. And then eventually I kind of learned how to navigate QuickBooks so that way I could kind of be able to do it on my own instead of having to outsource it. Because I like doing the boring things. A lot of people don't like doing the boring things. That's why you have people like me who like doing the boring things, who want to get paid doing the boring things. So, anyway, back to what we were talking about. So, there is a simple 3-step system you should focus on when it comes to bookkeeping. Now, I've definitely gone over this before again, too. So, pay attention. Make sure you got your notes out. You don't have to be a CPA or a math genius. You just need to follow these 3 things. First off, make sure you separate your money. I've mentioned this before in a previous episode where we talked about not mixing business and personal transactions. You need to have a business account and a savings account if you want. So you need somewhere where all your money can flow in from your business and all that money can flow out of your business. Me, I've talked about this before. I use the profit first method. So it's normally you get paid, you pay taxes, and then you keep whatever's left over, right? That's how we're normally taught. But profit first says you get paid, you pay yourself first, and then you allocate the rest of that to whatever, expenses, taxes, you do whatever afterwards. But you need to just make sure that you're having all your money flow into a business account and not into your personal account. Keep things separate. All right, number 2 is to obviously track everything monthly. Again, you can use things like QuickBooks. There's Xero, which I've never used, but that's an option too. That will automatically pull all your bank transaction once you link your credit card and all your accounts and stuff like that. It'll link all of it, and then you categorize it simply, marking it as either income, marketing, software, meals, travel, supplies, and so on. And I would do this probably, once like once a week or so, just to check, just categorize. If you're going to do your own bookkeeping, just, categorize it. Just check, like once a week or so, see what your numbers are. So step 3, you need to reconcile and review. For those who've never heard the term reconciliation, it just means making sure that your accounts all match your bookkeeping records. So this method here, you need to do this monthly. So you always want to reconcile your accounts monthly. I always do mine once a month, just to make sure everything matches, make sure there's no transactions that shouldn't be there, or I need to find the transactions to make sure that everything is counted out, because you want to make sure everything, when you reconcile, is zeroed out, what we call it in bookkeeping, zeroed out. So you always want to make sure you know your numbers and make sure they are accurate. Now, speaking of doing your own bookkeeping versus hiring somebody, you're probably asking like, all right, well, when should you do your own bookkeeping versus when you should hire someone? Well, let's be real. Tax season doesn't start in January. It starts when you get serious about your money. At Millennial Gems Financial Solutions, we help self-employed hustlers, entrepreneurs, business owners stay ready year-round. Whether it's clean bookkeeping, tax prep, or setting up systems so you can finally understand your numbers, our goal is simple. Provide clarity, protect your peace of mind, and help you keep more of what you make. You've worked too hard to give Uncle Sam more than you owe. So let's fix that. Visit millennialgemsbk.com to book your consultation today. My knowledge, I would say if you don't have that many transactions, this is also just like what I've learned too from like others, like opinions and stuff. But if you don't have like many transactions, if your business isn't like super complex, if there's just not like a lot going on with your business, then you can probably manage to do your own bookkeeping. As far as like, I don't want to set like a number, because, it could definitely probably vary. I would say, if you're probably hitting, like that 20, 25, probably anything like above like 10K or so, like, then you probably might want to maybe hire like a bookkeeper or so. But bookkeeping for the most part, it can be fairly simple. I mean, obviously there's going to be like a lot of like terminology and stuff like that you'll have to learn, but I've been doing it for about almost a year now, and you know, again, I'm still learning. Like, like I learn something new every day. Every time I go into my QuickBooks, I learn something every day. I'm still playing around with the software to kind of just familiarize myself because they're always updating it with new things. So I'm just trying to just make sure I'm always up to par with it. But yeah, if you're probably making less than 10K, you can probably manage to do it yourself. But once you start making a lot more money, you're going to eventually have to start putting your time into, focusing more on the business. And then that's when you're going to need to outsource because now your business is growing. So like I said, you got to put more time into, focusing on your business and that's when you should probably look to hire a bookkeeper. A good bookkeeper, is going to make sure that you're audit proof, is going to make sure you're tax ready, and make sure that you're financially clear year round. So you have to make sure you're keeping up with it. So if you're not going to do it yourself, then you got to make sure you hire somebody to do it for you. And just for the record, if you are looking for one, we at Millennial Gems Financial Solution has your back. Okay. So what are some of the best bookkeeping tools for creators and entrepreneurs? There's not really too many that I have in mind, but I would say, obviously QuickBooks is going to be the first overall because that's what most business owners use. That's what most people will use first. It's pretty popular. Like I said, there is Xero, but again, I don't have any experience with Xero, but that is another option too. But again, like QuickBooks is kind of like an industry standard, easy automations, very easy to understand once you kind of start playing around with each section and kind of just dabbling along. Things like your bank account, like Novo. So like I have a Novo business bank account. And so, they've now implemented something where I can now I can almost do like bookkeeping within my bank account. Whenever transactions are flowing in or out, I can simply just categorize it and, my Novo account essentially like another platform for me to do bookkeeping. So I won't have to pay for QuickBooks because it'll do it there. I don't know if like, ones like Blue Vine or Relay do it, but they probably might. But I know that Novo, they definitely do it for sure. And I will drop a link if you want to sign up for a Novo business bank account. I would leave that link down in the show notes. Let's see, what else? I mean, you could also go the route of doing spreadsheet too. I mean, like that's kind of like the old way of doing things, just plugging things into a spreadsheet. But, we're in 2025 now. Like that's almost unnecessary for you to have to do that because, everything is being automated now. Like automation is literally the way of life now. The point is to automate everything that you can and review what matters. Like there's no more you have to do things by yourself because we have AI involved. We have automations now. So everything is made to be streamlined and made things a lot easier. Okay, so let's get into kind of like some like mindset stuff. We can't, have an episode without kind of getting into like mindset. So let's be honest. Some people really do avoid looking at numbers because it can be uncomfortable and it can be a lot. Again, if you want to make sure that the IRS doesn't come after you, you need to make sure you're looking at your numbers. You need to make sure your numbers are straight every week. You don't have to do your bookkeeping every single day. Like I said, just pick a day out of the week and you just do you categorize your transactions. Just do that. Like I do mine every Monday. Every Monday, I do my I categorize any transactions every Monday. If there are any transactions to categorize, I do it every Monday. Then every month is when I do my reconciliation. So, you can't avoid looking at your numbers, because if you want to make more money, if you want to learn how to keep more money, you have to know your numbers. And once you get consistent with it, bookkeeping is going to become empowering, because you're no longer going to be guessing. You're no longer going to be hoping. You'll just start knowing. You'll start knowing where your money goes. You'll start knowing what's working in your business. You'll start knowing what better financial moves to make. That's the confidence you can build by utilizing bookkeeping and mastering bookkeeping. Now, again, you don't have to do the bookkeeping on your own. Probably at first, because your business is small and there's not a lot of transactions, you can manage to do it yourself. But once you really start making some serious bread, you're going to need to outsource it, because you can't focus on doing that and running your business. So that's how wealth is going to start. That's where your confidence is going to come from. Just putting in those reps with fooling around with your bookkeeping and getting acclimated with it. All right. So you're probably thinking now, all right, well, I need to probably get my books together before tax season. Well, you're damn right. And you know what you can do? You can head to my Millennial Gems Financial Solutions and book your free bookkeeping consultation. We'll help you set up your bookkeeping system. We'll make sure that your books are clean. If you have any past years that you need cleanups, we do bookkeeping cleanups as well. And we're going to always make sure that your business is ready for tax season and is always prepared. So always be organized. Your accounts will always be reconciled every month. You'll be ready to go every year. So make sure you do take care of your bookkeeping, and look out for, tax season is approaching too. So if you do need your personal taxes or business taxes done, you can also go to the website. Again, I will drop that down in the show notes as well. You can set up a consultation. Right now, I have put out my VIP wait list for those who want to, get some money knocked off of their invoice for their taxes. I do have limited spots, so make sure you do sign up early if you want to take advantage of that. Also, let's see, what else? Yeah, I think that about does that. So until then, remember, you can't grow what you don't track. And clean books build wealthy businesses. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.